Good afternoon. My name is Nate. We're going to try this again. This is our second take. We lost our connection there on the first try. Welcome to UMFS Live. This is episode 3 of season 2. Today we're going to be joined by Erica. She is the Director of Learning and Special Projects at UMFS, and I'm going to dial her into the room now. And the invite is sent. So hopefully Erica will be joining the room shortly. I want to thank everyone for tuning in live, and I want to thank everyone who will join us later when they watch this posted on our Instagram feed. Good afternoon, Erica. Hello.
Hello.
Erica and I have been playing, Instagram live tag for the past few minutes, trying to get the connection sorted away. And looks like we are good to go. I really appreciate your time, Erica. I was introducing our viewers, explaining that you are the Director of Learning and Special Projects at UMFS. We'll get to all that in just a moment. But Erica, if we may just start, can you tell us what brought you to UMFS?
Sure. So I had graduated from the MSW program at VCU. And honestly, I had applied anywhere and everywhere, just trying to get a job, and very thankful because the head of HR at the time, I think, took pity on my resume and gave me a call. But I was very excited because the job was directly working with families and kids. And at the time, we had a home-based in-home program. And so I got the interview and knew it was the right place when they asked me. One of my interview questions was the importance of family. And so I knew like this was going to be the place to be for me. And funny story, it ended up, I got the job. They offered me the job the day of Hurricane Isabel.
Oh, wow.
So right before the hurricane hit, I got the job offer. I was so excited. And I said, well, I may not have power or water, which turned out to be pretty true for several weeks, but I got the job. So here I am.
Yeah, well, that, you never forget when you land a job that you like. You certainly never forget when you land a job in the middle of a natural disaster. So we're glad that it's all worked out. And how long ago was that?
Gosh, I have been with UMFS for 18 years.
18 years. That's amazing. Now, there are several people at UMFS I've had the pleasure of speaking with and who've been at the organization for several years. Can you talk a little bit about what it is you think that keeps people coming back?
Ooh, I can speak for myself, and this probably resonates with many. I think UMFS is one of the unique places where it is a combination of head and heart work, where the work, it's intellectual in the sense that we are trying to solve deep community issues. There's a focus on not just here's the service we're doing, but really what is the social impact in the long run? What evidence-based programs? What can we be doing? What data? It's always that kind of quest for how do we make it better in combination with a deep love for people, for the families we work with, for each other. And I just think you need both. And I think having both has kept me excited about the work, wanting to try different things. And then probably lastly, what everyone says, it's the people. I swear there is no better place. The humans here are the best humans on the planet. And I think that they care for one another and the families. They're innovative, they're passionate, and really hardworking. And so for me, if you're surrounding yourself around that kind of community, doing work that is beyond meaningful, there's nowhere else to be.
Yeah, well, that's beautifully said, and I couldn't agree more. I haven't been here quite as long as you. Just celebrated 4 years with UMFS, but what I can say to add to your comments, the people here are really doing incredible work, and there's a lot of like-mindedness happening. And when I have the opportunity to watch any number of programs, employees in those programs working with the young people and the families we serve. It really just impresses me every single time. So speaking of people and knowing that you've been here for quite a long time at UMFS, and you worked in a different program previously before joining the program you're with now, or the department for that matter. So now your title is fairly new, Director of Learning and Special Projects. Can you talk about that role? Give us a snapshot of what you do.
Okay, so I'm still new, but I can give the snapshot. I'd say probably the biggest focus is ensuring, really overseeing all of our agency learning, which often involves the delivery of the trainings that all employees need across all different programs, as well as the compliance side. And, a lot of times too, it's looking at what do individual teams need to really be the best that they can be. I would note that we also focus a lot on what's really going to enhance our organization. So a lot of the trainings and supports that we give, we're looking a lot at how do we continue the work of our DE&I strategy? How are we supporting family engagement? How do we enhance our clinical approaches, our trauma-informed care with collaborative problem solving, or professional development within our employees? The other sort of side of my role is special projects. So I currently oversee our Virginia Wraparound Implementation grant, where we're supporting the whole state of Virginia in high fidelity wraparound. So providing those trainings, as well as I oversee our Courage to Succeed program, which supports youth with neurodiversity as they kind of exit high school and into community college.
That's great. And, the depth of your position sort of speaks to the depth of our organization, where we offer all these great programs. We're involved in many great resources that reach the community at different levels. I know I've had the opportunity to work with Courage to Succeed closely on a number of projects. And we had Brandy Tinsley, our guest last week, who was speaking to a point you just made, the high fidelity wraparound. So for anyone who hasn't been exposed to that program, I encourage you to go back and watch that episode with Brandy. She spoke very clearly and in detail about the importance of these sorts of evidence-based approaches. I'll move on here and ask you touched on it a little bit earlier, Erica, what inspired you to do this work?
First and foremost was my parents. That's, I think, where the roots formed. My mom is a social worker, and so I saw it in her career, but also in our lives, our daily lives. And both my dad and my stepdad, my whole family actually, was very involved in the church and volunteering for others. And so in our family, you gave back, you were grateful and appreciative sort of what you had, and that kind of resonated throughout my whole childhood. And how they talked about other people was inspiring too, of, if someone else didn't have, well, what are you going to do to kind of make it better? A lot of social justice lens, I think, kind of permeated my upbringing. But I would say probably what really solidified my passion is I lost my dad. He died by suicide at age 13. And I think that experience just forever connected me to mental health and the importance of mental health, taking care of mental health, access, but also how it impacts whole families and how, whole families can help you heal. And also what can we do so that, one, no one ever has to experience that, but two, how do we kind of use that family unit to support? And so that did it. From there on, I knew I was going to be in a helping profession.
Well, and we're so grateful that you're with us at UMFS, and I really appreciate you sharing that perspective with us. And I guess it's sort of a hard question to ask, because you've been in this role since you graduated, but what may you have been doing if you hadn't chosen this work?
If you ask my parents, they would have said a teacher. I think they thought that was going to be the path, which actually, I could see that to some degree. But, if I wasn't doing this, so I love to talk and I love people. So I'm thinking like a trainer somewhere where I'm in front and interacting all day long.
Yeah.
And something helping, like it's something to improve the lives of others, lift them up, empower them, you know, something in that vein, I think would have been a pretty happy choice for me.
Well, and you do a lot of that. I know you've led trainings that I've been able to participate in, and you do a lot of opportunities with speaking. I know you and I were working together here recently on a project, and you're sort of building some of those new skills. But I think, again, that speaks to this organization, UMFS, as sort of a learning organization, not only for what we do in our services for the community, but also what we do within to help great unwavering champions like you grow in their roles. So I wonder if we can switch gears real quick and talk about the impact of this work. You've been at this for a long time, and you've worked in, Richmond Regional Center, which is more in a direct care role, and now you're over here in more of a strategy sort of behind the scenes role. What is the impact of this work been on you?
The first thing that comes to mind truly is, I think the longer you stay in this field, probably the profound impact of, I don't know, the love for the human condition, the human spirit. I think in this work, every week you see people sometimes in their darkest moments, mm-hmm. and then you see them resilient and thriving and healing, and to have that combination all the time just probably deepens your empathy for how people show up and where they're at, and how all different types of people are kind of overcoming challenges. And that, yes, it's my job, but I think that makes you a better wife, a better mother, a better friend in life. And so I think that's probably the biggest part that has impacted me. I think it has sealed my early beliefs that family and, your extended family, your natural supports is so powerful in helping people navigate challenges, and, whatever we can do to preserve that and strengthen that for people really makes a difference. And I'd say we can't do it alone, and some of that is, gosh, there's so much I don't know, right? The more you're in this, and then appreciating how much I need others to change this community, and then how much UMFS needs other people, and that collective impact more and more is shown year after year.
Yeah, well, and you mentioned collective impact, and we like to multiply impact at UMFS, and it really does take that holistic approach. You've got a lot of great team members who support you, and then you also have that lens of the impact you're having in the community. And I think all of those things really make UMFS a special place. But more than anything, the families, the children, the teens that we serve are really the champions. Speaking of the work, and you mentioned that it can be challenging, what do you do, Erica? How do you reset? How do you recharge when you are away from the office?
So, humble brag, I think I'm pretty good at self-care. And in part because I'm very social. And so when I leave the office on the weekends, I am with my family. It's family movie nights. It's girls' trips. It's cookouts. I like a lot of fun, and I like to bring some of that pep in that. And my family lives close by, so I'm really fortunate because then it's extended family. It's all those pieces. But I'd also add, everyone says it, but I do work out a lot to kind of recharge in that way. I love to travel. And as much as I'm in community doing those things, I think it helps me to keep going. And, the last thing I will say, because sometimes helpers are not good at this, but I have learned, I have twins, and asking for help during times of, stress or whatever it is, has been a game changer. So making sure that I'm saying what I need, and that to me has kind of kept me going.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And I want to be mindful of your time, but if you have some, I'd like to ask you one last question as we round things up. So, in all of these years at UMFS, all these experiences, has there been a particular young person or a family that you've worked with that's had a particular impact, a lasting impact on you? And can you tell us a little bit about that?
So for me, I actually have 3 foster families that come to mind. I know I'm breaking the rules. I'm supposed to pick one. But the reason I say it is they have a similar theme. And 2 were early on in my career. I joke that they trained me in social work. And then 1 was a little later. But I think what struck me is the thing these families had that it's just amazing to watch is, 1, they had this ability to make any kid feel welcome in their home. And I mean, however that kid showed up, and it was hard. And so in part, it was just the warmth and ability to make the kids feel loved. It was their just incredible ability to self-regulate and stay calm and patient, as well as they gave back to their community year after year after year. And, people like to say, like, oh, it's so great you do this work. And I'm like, no. There are these people out there that at 2 a.m. you call them and they would stop everything they possibly had planned and let someone enter their home who is hurting and has so many needs in that moment, and just take them in. And so I think just knowing people like out there, they exist. I think for me, it was impactful because I really learned a lot watching that kind of selflessness and skill and fortitude that they gave to our community. And we need about 1,000 more parents like that. And we have them currently, and we need even more. But those 3 in particular, just really, anytime I think of a hero, an angel, or just someone, they come to mind every time.
Unwavering champions. We say it all the time.
Yes.
It's amazing, hearing that from your perspective. And I've had the opportunity to watch, again, from afar, but also work from a communication standpoint on stories, on videos that celebrate these families. We were talking to a family yesterday in a different region of Virginia whose story is incredible, but it's because of what you said. They have that desire to say yes and be helpful, and at 2 a.m. can take a young person who needs a placement. I mean, it's pretty incredible. So I'm really grateful that you shared that with us. And I'm so grateful that you joined us for UMFS Live. I want to thank everyone who tuned in this week. Of course, we're here every week at or about noon on Wednesdays. Sometimes we have some technical challenges, but follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram right here, and we'll post the updates and let you know when we're going live. Erica, I want to thank you, and I'm sure I'll talk to you soon. To everyone who tuned in, appreciate it, and tune in again to the next episode of UMFS Live.
Bye.
Bye.